All right, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Barak the Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shah, Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, that teach well, while learning the truth 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophets, the servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth, and shalom to the Akwaf, which are the sisters that are sincere in your children, shalom. And in today's video is going to be another video from the brother the Hopeful like 3, where you basically have this Eve, this basically this woman, you know, she's prophesying about basically a dream she had pertaining to the MOTB, the C-HIP. So, you know, we're going to get into this video and basically hear what it is that she has to say about her vision that she had. And I'm gonna get a few precepts, and Lord's willing to be edifying, you know. So with that being said, before I get into this video, I'm gonna say fair use on the 1976 Copyright Act. I'm not getting paid for this video. This is only for educational purposes only. So with that being said, fair use.
I fall asleep with my baby in my hand, because while I'm putting her to sleep, I get put to sleep. And I woke up, I got comfortable because I was sitting up and I fell asleep sitting up, and I closed my eyes. As soon as I closed my eyes, I got a vision. And I was walking into a CVS store, and the first thing that I noticed about the CVS store was, first of all, there weren't aisles like how we see in a store, but there were sections, and there were no workers there. That's one of the things that I noticed. There was absolutely no workers, but the store was open. Also, I noticed that.
Right. And before I even finish letting the video play, I'm going to just get a precept real quick that pertains to the video, you know. But the Lord said that this will happen in the last days, that, you know, you'll have men and women and their children that'll be prophesying, basically telling the visions and, you know, dreams and things of that nature, in which it is that they see ultimately pertaining to prophecy that are going to occur in the last days, man. You know, it tells you that the Lord is going to pour his spirit upon all the Israelites' flesh, even those that could possibly be of the 2/3 to have these dreams, man. You know, so I'm going to get this. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 28 in the KJV. And it says, "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions," man. Right. And this is that time in which it is that we're living in, where you having a lot of, you know, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians that are ultimately prophesying about having end time dreams, man, where they're ultimately seeing Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai return. You know, they're ultimately seeing the destruction of America, Babylon the Great. Like, a lot of people in these times are, you know, having dreams, man. And that's how we know that we're getting close to this place ultimately going down, man, because all of these end time dreams that these brothers and sisters around the world are having, man. Right. So this is another precept just touching on that. This is Acts chapter 2, verse 17 in the KJV. And it says, "And it shall come to pass in the last days," right, saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, "I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams," right? And that's the time period in which it is that we're living in, brothers and sisters. Like I said before, where you're having a lot of, you know, people of the tribes, man, men or women, young or old, having dreams, man, of destruction ultimately coming to the world. Or it could be pertaining to Jacob's trouble or the hour of temptation or, you know, World War III, man. But they're just all having visions of end time events ultimately taking place soon, man. Right. And this is also an indicator that we're at the end, man. Right. Because it says in the last days that the Lord will pour his spirit upon all flesh, man. Right. So, and we're seeing this, man, you know. So I'm going to get back into the video.
Everything had a red scanner. On each item, there was a red scanner on it. So I walked into the store. I go in. I notice these things. And I need a few things. So I don't even remember what I picked up. But I picked up an item. And I'm like, how am I supposed to pay for these things? As soon as I asked that question, I had instant knowledge that it was being scanned, But this is just for educational purposes, because I will not be getting the mark. But I knew, I had the knowledge to know that these items, upon picking them up, are being scanned by a chip in my hand. And as I go to pick up a few more items, I notice that I'm...
Right? So you brothers and sisters basically heard what it is that she said, man. You know, that she felt in her dream that, you know, she was ultimately scanning whatever it was that she was paying for at that time with a chip in her hand, like she said. You know, so this is what's coming, man. Like I said, a lot of brothers and sisters, you know, are having dreams, and even just random people in general that are not in this truth are having dreams of an MOTB C-HIP coming on the horizon, man. And this thing will come, right? So I'm going to get this precept right here. This is Revelations, right? Chapter 13, verse 16 through 17. And I'm going to start at verse 16 in the KJV. It said, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, right? You go into that word mark in the Greek. It goes into haragma or charagma, right? Which is this man is going to put an imprint or a stamp, right? Which is that RFID C-HIP, that microchip, right? Either in your right hand or in your forehead, right? In verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, right? Save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? So that's ultimately what's coming, brothers and sisters. Like I said before, you know, that MOTB C-HIP is going to be made mandatory soon, man. Like I said, we don't ultimately know the hour or the day, but we know that it's coming fast, man. And that's why you're seeing everything happening in the economy in this place, America, with the, you know, United States dollar weakening and things of that nature is ultimately being done by design, man, because that's ultimately the plan of these elites, man, which is to ultimately bring in this C-HIP so that they can have full control over what you buy, over what you sell, over what you eat, what you do, you know, all of these different things. That is ultimately the agenda of these devils, man, right? To have full ownership over you when they insert this chip inside of you. And when they insert it in you, for those who take it, they're going to have full control over you, man, right? So this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. And it says, for the vision, meaning the prophecies, because the MOTB C-HIP is a main prophecy, man, is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, right? So that's basically proving that this chip will come, man, in our lifetime. And it won't be 1,000 years from now. It won't be 100 years from now. All of these different types of things that these people are ultimately telling you people, man. This stuff is coming soon, man, you know? So I'm going to finish letting the video play of what she's saying. But yeah, the chip is on the way, man. You know, like I said, people keep having dreams of the chip, you know, and things of that nature. That's because it's coming, man. The Lord is preparing certain people's mind and their spirit and, you know, ultimately his elect, you know, warning them of what's to come, man, you know. And who knows, she could be of the elect, man, because we know that there's a lot of women that are going to be delivered as well. So who knows? But, you know, that chip is coming.
I'm surrounded by scanners all around me. Like, I can't see it, but I have a knowing that there are scanners and they are scanning everything that I pick up with this chip that I have in my hand. And then I woke up from the vision.
Right. So you heard what it is that she basically said, man. You know, everything is being pushed towards that MOTB C-HIP to be made mandatory. That's why we see, like I said, again, with, you know, Donald Trump, ultimately, you know, with them just came out with a, I believe it was a proposal where they stopped making pennies, man. And we know if they didn't already stop making pennies, it's only a matter of time before they ultimately stop making dollars. Then they stop making other different types of coins and things of that nature. And ultimately, Donald Trump even said when he first came into office, maybe about a month or two ago, he said that America is going to be the leading country in CBDC, which is central bank digital currency, man. So like I said, everything that's ultimately happening in this world is leading up to this implementation of the MOTB, man, you know. So yeah, you know, that's pretty much everything I had to say with today's video. Just something quick through the spirit. Lord's willing to be edifying. To the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect.